Hello everyone. Welcome to the Scottish Running Podcast. It's just myself at the moment, Pete Tucker. Sean is currently learning Spanish on some sort of course online. I've got the pleasure of having Morag Miller here. A lot of our viewers or listeners will know her by her maiden name, Morag McLarty, running for a good few years and achieving some pretty impressive feats. I'll just run through a couple of them. Back in 2005, and hopefully this information is all correct, European Junior 1500 metre champion. Also won the Commonwealth Youth Games gold medal back in 2004 in the 1500, and obviously represented Scotland in the 1500 in 2006, and multiple Scottish senior champion 1500 metres 2008, 2009, 2010, and I believe more recently has been winning Scottish short courses, and if I'm not mistaken, also won the British and Irish Masters cross country in her age category. Welcome to the show, Morag. Thanks for coming on. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me. How are you getting on?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, no, not a problem. As I said, the pleasure's mine. Thanks for coming on and chatting to us. We'd be looking forward to it. Just in terms of some of the things I rattled off there, did I get some of that right? Was that pretty accurate?
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah.
Good stuff. So how's things at the moment? How are you getting on? How's training as of right now? Where are we at running wise?
Running wise, we are getting over the flu, which I haven't had it for like 20 years. And Lewis, to be fair, my husband, he had it worse than I did. But yeah, like basically, I've missed a couple of weeks of training and just trying to get back into things. So that's where we are at the moment.
Yeah, no. Fair. Obviously, we were chatting earlier, so as you know, I'm in the same boat, and literally just been prescribed a course of antibiotics, having had man flu. Obviously, you know the man flu, as we know, is obviously it affects us guys a lot worse. I'm sure Lewis will tell you all
Yes,
about
yeah.
that. But so just trying to get over that myself. London Marathon's not looking very promising at the minute, but no. Obviously, we'll have a chat and be interested to hear what you've got coming up in the pipeline. But before we get into that, I will just go by with what we call my sort of 10 sort of questions, quick fire round, but it's never really quick fire, but we'll just have a wee chat and find out a little bit more about you. So just to start off with them, if you could just tell us a little bit about your best achievement or your proudest PB.
Um, Best achievement would probably be being the first British woman to ever win the European Juniors middle distance title.
Yeah.
So that was way back in 2005. So it's a wee while ago now. In fact, it's a long time ago now, over 20 years ago now. So yeah, that'd probably be my best PB. I don't know. I feel like I've never achieved my potential at any distance because I always tend to get injured when I get fit, and my
Right.
body can't really seem to handle
Uh-huh.
a lot of load. I think I've got like a mixed connective tissue disorder, so it fits like an arthritis-y thing.
Yeah.
But it also affects your tendons, so it always seems to be my tendons that let me down a wee bit. So yeah.
Right. Okay. No, that's great. I mean, yeah, that's amazing. That's something to be proud of. Obviously, 2005. So yeah, I was running my best around 2008. So yeah, we're in a similar sort of club there to where our best years was. But unlike
Yeah.
yourself, I've kind of gone on a different trajectory to you. I've kind of gone like that, whereas you've sort of gone like that, and then maybe even just improved somewhat. But there we go. So just on you mentioned about your PBs and stuff. So what would you say, just out of interest from a personal point of view? For me, it's 10K. But what about yourself? What would you say is your kind of weakest PB, or the one you're most sort of frustrated about, where you know you could have run a lot quicker?
Probably 1500
Is it
and
right?
yeah, and 10K as well. Because I've
Okay.
never done a 10K, like a fast one or one where I've had like my PBs actually after being ill, like I hadn't had proper training for like 4 weeks. But my 1500s will always be something that annoys me.
Right.
Like
Okay.
it's 410 and I just didn't, that race, like I just didn't, it was in Sweden. Actually, Stefan Hassan was in it before she won it actually before she became
Right.
like really, but then that whole day, like one of the other like GB athletes over there had told me you could walk to the track, but it wasn't walking distance. By the time I got there, I was like absolutely knackered. And then afterwards, I remember having loads of energy. My warm down was like really fast. It was just really frustrating. It's just one of those things where, and you're really fit. Like I was
Yeah.
definitely 4.5, 4.6 shape, something like that.
Right.
Yeah. I just didn't like my legs just felt so. So yeah, I'll always be one I regret. But and that was
Okay.
before the spikes you used to run in.
Yeah, like the dragonflies and that you got now, the sort of
Yeah,
carbon.
like they're
Yeah.
so bouncy. Like so now, like I reckon they'll definitely give you a second per lap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, you sound like myself. I'm just frustrated that with the marathon, I was saying my best being back in '08, and that was obviously pre-carbon, and because unfortunately, like, if only I could get anywhere near that shape now and then run it. But
Totally. Yeah, yeah.
obviously, unfortunately, the benefit you get from the carbon, are totally negated by the fact that I've now got a dad bod, as we mentioned earlier, from lack of running, old age, and just getting slower. And yeah, I think you mentioned you were sort of been held together by a physio and sort of all sorts of tape and stuff. And as I told you, I married a physio, but yeah, I'm just hanging together myself, lower back pain, old age. But yeah, anyway, let's be a bit more positive. Right, moving on. So tell me, who would you say is your favourite male athlete?
Male athlete.
Yeah.
I'd probably say Jake Whiteman.
Okay, yeah, cool, great shout.
He's just so yeah, like he just gives it everything. Tactically, he's very astute. He's
Yeah.
And a really nice guy. He's not like cocky or anything. He's just very.
Yeah, 100%. I've only met him. I met him a couple of times myself, actually. In fact, because obviously his dad was obviously a pretty decent runner, Jeff Whiteman, wasn't he, back in the day? Just a bit.
Yeah, and his mum.
Commentary.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right? Right, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think his mum's a marathon runner.
Oh, is she? Right. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, well, there you
Maybe
go.
not.
He's got.
Maybe Jeff's a marathon runner. But yeah, he's running pedigree in the family. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. He's certainly got a good gene
Yeah,
for it, hasn't he?
yeah.
So yeah, maybe he's had it a bit easy. No, yeah, no. And again, I think if I'm not mistaken, his dad's from down south originally. Because although I think I said to you earlier, I used to run for Blackheath Harriers or Blackheath and Bromley as we are now. So one of our kind of like rival clubs. I say rival club, they're not really a rival because we were always just so much better. It's a bit like Liverpool and Everton, you see. Blackheath like the Liverpool, and Dartford Harriers were more like the Everton. So and Jeff is quite. I think he's certainly very well linked to them. So Jake actually joined Dartford and ran for them second claim a few times. So you can imagine that was pretty good for the club. He'd occasionally turn up. I think he did the odd sort of Kent cross country league. He would just turn up and obviously just absolutely smash it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I met him at one of the Scottish Athletics Awards night once and had a good chat with him. But towards the end of the night, I was probably a bit worse for wear, and so yeah, there we go. Okay, moving on then. No, but that's a great shout with Jake. Favourite female athlete?
I've always had I've always loved like Lisa Risky.
Okay, yes. Yeah. In fact, she's another. I think she's from Ashford originally. She's a Kent girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. And so, main event, she was a 1500 metre runner.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But she'd go from being out of shape and like she would carry a bit of extra weight.
Okay.
And then what was the name of her coach? That's so bad. Can't remember.
Been above me now as well.
George. Yeah. Is it George or something?
Hang on.
He's really. He's passed away now, but he was very.
Do you know what? George Gandy?
Yes,
no?
That's it.
Is it? Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. There we go.
Yeah,
I didn't even have to Google that there, but.
Yeah.
Oh well, we got there. Yeah, no, definitely great show. Yeah, I remember she was pretty decent back in the day. I wonder what she's up to these days. I don't know if she still even just runs at all or in any.
Don't think so. No, I think she coaches with her husband over in America.
Oh, does she? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she would always. So George would say like she would put on weight, but that was like, that would be useful because in training she would carry extra weight, and then she would lose it like within like so fast. Right. So he said, I remember him saying one time that was like her thing, like. And then when she lost weight, she'd have all this power still. She could improve so quickly. Like I just felt like she was so talented because the amount, like how quickly she'd improve over a few weeks would be.
Yeah.
Because you think like she wasn't in it, and then it come to champs and she was.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see a mixing it now with some of the top Scotland. You like Salura Muir, or even some of the sort of the other top athletes. But any idea off the top of your head what sort of times was she running in back then? Do you know?
3:58 or something. She was
right.
sub-4. Yeah,
right. Decent.
But then obviously that was before the carbon.
Of course. Yeah, I know.
So I think that's right, but that's worth 4 seconds, right?
Yeah.
4 laps, yeah.
Well, yeah, 4 seconds every 100 meters. So if you had that to a marathon, then yeah, I mean, you know, who knows what you and I both could have run. So there we go.
Yes.
Okay. Right. I'm not sure if this is going to be your bag or not, but do we have a favourite football team?
Well, my family are Rangers fans.
Right. Okay.
And unless he supports Falkirk, so they go. So that's the thing now. I've got my own business now, so I've got my own like aesthetics clinic. So
yeah,
I was working on Saturdays, but I've had to switch it to Sundays because most of the Falkirk football matches are on a Saturday. It works really well though, but you have to check with them. You have to cross-reference like fixtures and like other plans and races and stuff before I can work out what days I'm going. Because I do that kind of second Sunday afternoon in clinic.
Yeah,
so I'll get my Sunday long run done, but then it's like. It's a juggle because you're like I'm running because Liz and I can't run together obviously because our girls are like 5 and 2. You can't just be like
sure.
See you later.
Yeah.
So I run. and then
Sorry,
he
go on.
teaches running to make up to 40 miles a week because he's cool. And then and then clinic. So yeah.
Yeah, so I was just looking actually. So is it it's aesthetics you do? Is it dental aesthetics? Is that right? Medical
No,
aesthetics?
it's like Botox, fillers,
Oh, right. So
like
I don't know
skin
where I got
treatments. I
dental.
do tooth
Right.
whitening, but yeah.
Okay. So rejuvenate by Morag. Is that right?
Yeah, rejuvenation by by Morag, yeah.
So is there anything we can do for these sort of bags I've got here?
I'm afraid you're a bit past. No, I'm joking.
That's fine. I get it. That was very polite of you.
Do you
It's
know
okay.
what? It's interesting because there are more guys seeking treatment.
Yeah.
Worse than that, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And it used to be just because of their wives coming in. But now there are guys that come in off their own back. Because what happens is they see their wives like looking good and then they don't want to be left behind.
Yeah.
But guys get away with it more than girls.
Listen,
Definitely.
Sean will be raging that he's not. I hope, as I said, maybe he'll join us later. I don't know, but if he does, he'll be raging because you know, I don't know if you're aware, he's actually just come back from Turkey, and unlike myself, he's no longer follically challenged. He's
Oh, really?
yeah, he's got some luscious locks. The guy, I tell you.
Really?
Yeah, and he's so yeah, he's
That's interesting because I've just trained like literally on Friday there in something called PRP.
Oh yeah.
That's plasma rich protein. So they sometimes plasma rich platelet rich plasma. Sorry,
Right.
and basically and you can inject into joints.
Yeah.
You can actually inject it into like the scalp as well to stimulate hair. So they recommend that post hair transplant. So
right, okay.
to maintain results, yeah. So
Sean will be
really
in your
should be
inbox.
here.
Yeah, you the two of you can talk about. I think from my point, obviously, as you know, I've just got back from Tenerife. I'm not as tanned as I'd like to be. In fact, you might have seen there was a storm out there when we were typical. I've not really had much luck. Man flu, go to Tenerife. There's a storm, but anyway, it was warmer than here. But so yeah, I've got London in 4 weeks. I still don't know if I'm doing. I don't even know if I can defer my entry. But other than that, I might have to come. Could you maybe sort me out a wee spray tan or something? Is that something we could do? All right, let's move on. So next question, what have we got here? So do you have a favourite movie?
Favourite movie? I love Pretty Woman, yeah. Pretty Woman, I like that one. Yeah.
Great shout, yeah. Julia Roberts, yeah. I have seen it, yeah, brilliant. Not in my top 5, I'm going to be honest with you, but my wife's a fan as well, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Good stuff. Okay, moving on. So yeah, as obviously you've had. Obviously, I'm not saying you've been around for forever, but you have had a long and illustrious running career. So fair play to you. Interested to hear a little bit more about that. You know, where it's taken you and some of the sort of experience you've had, like people you've met, etc. I'm sure you've got a few stories there. Lots of things that you probably wouldn't have done or got to see otherwise. But so on that note, who is the most interesting person you've met through running?
That's a good question. Who's the most interesting?
And I know you've got a particularly fast former coach as well. So, but doesn't have to be her. Could be anyone at all you've met through running. Just
probably through running. So I ran the Commonwealth Games in 2006.
Okay.
And like being on the same team as Chris Hoy was like really cool.
Yeah. Wow. That's a pretty good shout. Yeah.
Yeah. He was just such like a decent guy. He was obviously like at the top of his. Yeah. Top of, like he was basically like. So good, but he still was like really approachable and very.
Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, because sometimes they kind of, not that I'm not massively into cyclists, but I appreciate him as being an amazing athlete. And sometimes they say never meet your heroes, don't they? But he was pretty cool and down to earth then. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, and I was like one of the youngest in the team, but he was so it was just like I didn't have loads of interaction with him or anything, but it was just really cool just because. And like in the athlete village, you're in your own house. Yeah. So athletics was in one house. So you go past their house and they'd have like their turbos out in front of the.
Oh, cool!
And it's just really cool to be in. Being at a multi-sport games is different, and it's really
definitely cool. Yeah. Well, that's these are like life experience. You know what I mean? They're things you can tell people about. So, people like you and I will be interested. I know there are a lot of people that won't be, but no, that's pretty cool. Am I right in saying he's either the, if not one of the most sort of decorated GB Olympians? Is that right?
Yeah.
That's pretty.
It's funny because we went along to watch them at the velodrome because the cycling was on before the athletics. And then the swimmers did really well. And the cyclists, they were doing well, but not as well as the swimmers. And we were like, oh, we went to the wrong place. Because it's like, because the Scotland team was just doing really well at that time. And those
what year was that? Sorry, was that 2006?
2006, in Melbourne. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So, sorry, just I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here since we're talking about Com Games and Scotland and stuff. What year were the Com Games in Glasgow before? Was it
2014?
14. Yeah. So were you kind of in the mix at all around that time? How were things for you that year?
It was so difficult because basically I was being coached by Liz at the time, and she would have you doing really high volume, and then you come down quickly to do lots of speed stuff. Right. And I think probably my strength was somewhere in the middle. So I would tend to lose my aerobic strength, like fitness. But then also I ended up getting low iron, and then was it that year?
Right.
I got a stress fracture as well, which is like, but yeah, basically I missed the time by like 0.94.
Oh, nightmare.
Yeah. And I remember so you had to get the time twice.
Yeah, you were saying earlier.
I was in Poland and trying to get the time. And like, I don't think I've ever done a track race harder. And I was like, you know, when you're like, and I didn't get the time, and it wasn't like, you know, when it's not clicking, like I just, but yeah, like I just gave it my best shot. But yeah, I was on in the indoor bit afterwards. I was like lying there for like, I don't know, it was like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Like I knew I'd given it everything, but yeah. Because some races you don't, like you just feel you could have pushed on a certain bit. I didn't, but yeah. Yeah. It's fine. Like it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because you could, if you got the time once, like it wouldn't.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. I guess that's part of. I mean, I guess for you at the time, you must have been pretty gutted. So I guess it's part of the sport, isn't it? You get the highs and the lows, and as we just discussed, obviously things are a little bit different for you now. Life's different. You've got 2 wee girls. Yeah. You know, you're married. You're busy working. But yeah, you've obviously come back, and we'll hear a little bit more, talk a bit more about that later. But domestically, you're absolutely smashing it. You know, I don't think anyone would really want to race you at the moment.
I don't know. I think over longer stuff, I'm not as good. So like 10K, like for instance, the national cross is like, I find that harder than like your 4Ks, so short course, or 5Ks. Yeah, that's more my thing, I think.
So you've still got those fast twitch muscles, then basically. That's what
somewhere deep in there, somewhere. Yeah.
Decent. Okay, nice one. All right, moving on then. What would you say is your favourite race? Whether it's, you know, a little local race that you maybe there might be one that's on the calendar every year. You know, I know there's some sort of races that are on some people's bucket list, even small races like the Blackrock 5 and certain races, or could be anything. Could be a Christmas caper race, or could be, you know, some of the major championships. What would you say is your favourite race?
I was actually going to say Blackrock 5.
Oh, really? I've never even done it. It's just a race I've heard about, so I should probably add that to my bucket list. But unfortunately, it'd just be trying to get around it for me these days. But no. So go on. So the Blackrock 5 then, yeah.
So it's like Blackrock, and then it's like 5 because it's not 5 miles. It's like 4 point, because they put it in hyphens. It's like 4.6 or 7 or something.
So it's shorter than 5.
Yeah, but it's like,
I love those races.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're the best ones.
Yes.
No, have you heard anything about it? Do you know what it is?
No. Well, from what my understanding is that I don't know much about. I just know it. Obviously, it's a race somewhere in Scotland. I don't even know where. You run out. There's a Blackrock, I imagine. You run around it and run back. Is that it?
Yeah, but it's in Kinghorn and Fife, and they have to time the race depending on when the tide is.
Okay, right. Yes.
So the Blackrock is on the beach. So you go up to where they start. You go up down the streets onto the beach. But the beach is like often a wee bit soft, and then it's far more rippled because obviously the tide's gone out. So it's really hard to run on. You go round the rock, but you're always going to be running through water. Yeah. But the tide, like 1 year we did it. So I've done it 3 times, and then 1 year, one year was like really pretty high, and then last year it was a bit lower. Okay. But you're having to high step, and I lose loads of time because guys can just like power through it. Right. I'm like. So
I'm guessing it's, as I said, from what I understand it, I guess it's quite a popular race, and I imagine it sells out fairly quickly. Fast. And it sounds like there's probably limited opportunities to even do it then. So I might have to pull my finger out and try and get on the start line for that one then.
Yep, entries open on Friday, the 3rd of April at 7.
We go.
You have to be in within the first couple of minutes.
Right, Scottish Running Podcast exclusive. Entries open on the 3rd of April. Do you know, actually, there's nothing kind of really iconic about it in terms of the race you just talked about there, but there's because it's a 5 miler, there's a wee 5 miler that I like doing down the road in Kent in a place called Harville. It's just a nice little, it kind of, you starts and finishes on a village green. They're called, I'll just give them a little plug here, they're called Harville Hash House Harriers, and they do this thing called hashing, which is to do with basically beer drinking. What I think they describe themselves as a beer drinking club with a running problem, or a running club with a beer drinking, one of the two. But no, I've been fortunate to win that one a few times, and it's just a great race. The last few times I've done it, I've not managed to get on the top. So, but hopefully there's life in the old dog yet. But I have actually entered it at some point. I think it might be the first Saturday in June. So, as you know, I'm not fit, but I'm on a slightly upward progression. So, that's what a race for me, Harville 5. So,
honestly, you should look at the Blackrock because there's no other race that's that distance, so it takes the pressure off.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like you can be like and your pace goes out the window because you're uphill then you're down to the
Right.
beach, and then you're on the sand, so it's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
hard to run, on
yeah.
the sand back in, and then you have to go uphill again, and run an uphill, and then there's a downhill before the last really steep hill. So like, it's not like you can really, like, you can pace it obviously, but it's
Cool,
not like you
cool.
can even be like, oh, what splits am I doing? It's like, that's what makes it
Gotcha.
like. And then I don't know if you've seen photos, but there's like so many people, like hundreds of people, snaking out towards the black rock and then snaking back on the beach. They're really cool photos.
Oh, cool,
Yeah.
cool. So, are you planning to do it this year then, if you can, if you get in?
Oh, like with the clinic, I've been invited to go on a trip
Ah,
to Italy, like yeah, Botox
right.
apply. But I'm actually really gutted that I'd missed that race, so I don't know. I'll have to see.
Okay. Well, listen, I've been told off for using the phrase before, but I'm just trying to work out how many people are going to chick me. So, if you're not going to be there, then yeah, at least I'll be one place up the pecking order. So just let me know if you are doing it, and I'll decide whether I'm doing it or
Why have you been told off for that?
No, it's just obviously it's the term chicked, but it's
Yeah,
the term that
yeah,
we use
I
or
like
some
it.
of us guys use. But
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I like it.
as long as you're not offended by it, but
No,
there may be some of our listeners that are, and if they
oh
are, then I
yeah,
fully apologise.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, no, because I always remember when I could run a little bit more back in the day. Obviously, it was very rare. In fact, I think I remember the first. I think I remember coming up against Sonia O'Sullivan in the 10K, and I
oh
managed to.
yeah,
Yeah, she was someone. I think I managed
oh
to beat
she's
her.
amazing.
I can't remember the first time I ever got beat by a woman, but now it's more likely like when am I not going to get beaten by a woman? It's just the opposite because I'm yeah, and well, I mean, women's athletes. Some of the times the ladies are running these days. I mean, even we were just talking a minute ago about some of your times. Was it 15:43? Your
Yeah,
PB
yeah,
for
yeah,
5,000. In fact, it's funny you said because 15:43 that was my PB for a long time. I remember doing my first ever British Athletics League when I was 17. I got called up to like the senior men's team. I think they must have been short, and I was on the B string, and that was out in Cardiff, and I ran 15:43. I had a pretty good run for me. I was 17 at the time, and that was pretty solid. But yeah,
that's
obviously
solid.
only a few years ago you're running. Was it 2023 or 22? You were running sort of 15:50s. I mean, I would bite my hand off to get anywhere near those sort of times at the
Yeah,
moment. So, but there you go. Sorry, we've gone off on a bit of a tangent there. So we were talking about the
today.
Blackrock Five. Oh no, just on the note of the Blackrock Five, I'm glad you mentioned about the sand because that's a bit of a contentious subject in my household. I was on holiday with my wife once, and we did a race. So literally, draw about I don't know 100 meters or so, draw a line in the sand, another line in the sand, and then we went. And I was going as fast as I could, and she beat me. And then it was only because I then later realised I was literally running in quicksand, and she was in like the firm hard sand.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah,
like obviously she cast that up to me quite a lot. I think we had a rematch and I just couldn't work. I was like, what is going on here?
yeah,
You're not
yeah,
faster than me. She's not even like she does a bit of gym work and that, but yeah, she absolutely smashed me over 100 meters. So there you go.
She knew what she was doing there. She had you.
That's it exactly. So hopefully she won't be entering the Blackrock Five or. I'll get a bit embarrassed. Right, moving on. Do you have? Yeah, this is what I'm interested to hear because obviously you've been running for a long time, lots of different events, and you've reached a very high level and had a lot of input for some great knowledgeable coaches. What would you say is one of your favourite sessions?
Oh,
Favourite
now
take?
you're asking.
Yeah. So it can either be one that
Yeah,
when I say favourite, you probably know that there might be some that you dread, but you know when you've done it and you've completed it, and if you smashed
yeah,
it, you feel so good after it, and it's a real positive. Sometimes it's just a psychological thing, but sometimes
yeah,
there's ones that you know are a bit easier, which you quite enjoy. So
yeah.
tell me some of the favourite sessions, whichever take you take on.
There's a session we do, like a local one at Bridge of Allen. There's a memorial park, so you do 800s, and you
Okay.
do it like in 3 minute cycles, so you get the rest of whatever you do as recovery. And I like that one because it's short recovery, but it's just long enough for me because there's another triangle. Well, there's a triangle 800 that they do is actually longer than 800. This is less than 800. You know when you do that thing, it's like it's 800.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So basically, like I do it in about sort of 210, something like that. So you get 50 seconds to recover. So it's, and I feel like I know then it's like seems to be my kind of pace and recovery that seems to work quite well, and I'll know if I'm kind of in shape or not. And if
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not, I'm a bit like, but even if I'm not fully in shape, I know it'll be helping me massively.
Sorry, how many of them are you doing? Did you say, sorry?
So we normally do 7 of those.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
think
did
it's
you?
7.
I know you said it's slightly short, probably only slightly, but did you just
Oh,
say
okay.
210 there?
Yeah, but that's like it's like 700 or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like an 800. Yeah, yeah,
750.
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Decent.
795. Yeah.
Class. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, and right, moving on. Do you have a favourite food at all?
Um. Yeah, like honestly, see when we were pregnant with our second, like third trimester,
Yeah.
I became anemic,
Right.
Like,
Okay.
oh, it was grim. So basically, you're already breathless because you're bigger, and then well, you're already breathless from the start. So
Yeah, and you've got
pregnancy is really
somebody else
weird.
stealing all your oxygen as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like so, I don't know why I say when it's bigger because basically, even I really struggled all the way through pregnancy, just being out of breath. But this was
Right.
like next level. I was like, oh. And then I just was like, so I've like it's amazing because we had this baby app thing. It's a baby center app, and it
Yeah.
tells you what you should be eating or like
All
what
right.
nutrient, like what oh you might like oh sorry what nutrients you need. And
Yes.
often it'll be like, oh, you might be wanting this, like blah blah blah. Blah. And like the number of times we used to do it on the Sunday, so Liz would like read it out to me. It was our wee sort of ritual that we had. And then it was amazing the number of times the week before that I'd been wanting the foods that it said that you needed for the nutrients at that stage of development.
Yeah.
But for that third trimester, all I wanted was like spaghetti bolognese. I love spaghetti bolognese. But that's like since then I just love it. Like so we have like this wee takeaway, this wee like Italian restaurant which is really good. I was just obsessed. It was just like so I know obviously it's not the cheapest way to have food, but I just really wanted so we would just go and do their takeaway, which is like yeah, it was just and I remember this bit being like, oh, what are you spending the most on? You know, like all your if you've already had a kid, you've already got the stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
it's probably the takeaways. Because I just wanted spaghetti bolognese like every night. And then we found out that I was anemic and it made a lot of sense.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, even more. So, do you take any kind of like supplements now as a result of being an in? Do you take any iron or anything? Or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right.
I take like ferrous fumarate quite regularly.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just so I've got a tendency for my iron to run low, but I think also when you're running, you hemolyze your red blood cells because you're the pounding on the ground.
Yes.
Yeah, like so much so like Liz will be like, oh, like but basically one time, oh, this is gonna sound ridiculous.
No, go on.
Yeah, he slagged me off for it all the time, but like he high fived me like really hard, and my arm was low, and I was like, oh, you'll hemolyze all my red blood cells in my hand, and he was just like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I don't know. So I
Well,
don't
in
know what I'm
fact,
saying.
I
Yeah.
saw a video on your Instagram there. I think there were the two wee girls giving you high fives as well. So I hope that
Oh
wasn't causing any
yeah,
problem.
yeah, they love that, and a wee fist pump. They do that as
Good
well.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's class. That's class. So they must be really proud of you then. So what was your youngest one? Was that Molly? Sorry, or which was the youngest?
Maisie's the youngest one, and
Maisie's the
Molly's the
youngest.
older one. But
So
Liz just
how
had to
much
give
does
her
she know about your running then? Did she talk to you about it and stuff?
well, Liz just had to give her a telling off because, well, not telling off, but like tell her to reframe her encouragement to me because, like, sometimes she like, particularly we did the East District cross country, and I was like sitting in like third, and at one point I looked like I was going to slip back, but she was just like, "Go faster, mummy," and the way she said it sounded really fed up. And then now, like Liz is like, oh, like so. Basically, the next time she was like, oh, "Well done, mummy," and then I asked Liz afterwards, and I was like, "Oh, did you like speak to her and get her?" And he's like, "Yeah, I had to," and I was like, "Thank goodness," because it's actually an anti-adrenaline thing because you're just like, yeah,
Fair. That's interesting. I'm sure I'll have that to look forward to when my daughter comes and watch me race. Because
yeah,
even sometimes now I get yes, daddy. Like I'll get in a bit of
yeah, yeah,
attitude.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure she'll be thrilled when she sees me coming back in like just inside the top 50 of a local park run or something. So
A bit of sass is all right.
yeah, that's it.
Oh no, but
Okay,
and
right.
Molly also does this. She goes, "Why did you not win, mummy?" And I'm just like, "How do you even answer that?" So you don't win everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Well, you do your fair share of winning, to be fair. So she can have a few moments. Moving on then. So, do you have excuse me? Do you have a phobia or a pet hate at all?
Phobia. No, I don't really have a phobia. I don't think. Do I have a pet hate though? I have probably quite a lot. What can I can't. Oh, this is gonna be sound pretty boring.
No, go on.
Yeah, but like just if people drop litter, like I just like it does my head in. Yeah, like I just can't. Yeah, I just don't know why people would. Because we live in such a abusive country, I don't know why people would. But yeah, I can't think of a better one. Like, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
no worries. All right, no, thanks for that. So that's just, as I said, a bit of a general chit chat, just to find out a little bit about you, where you are and stuff. So, yeah, no. So just tell us a little bit then about kind of a typical training week for you
yeah.
as of right now, and how does that compare to? I mean, did you say you were running kind of around where you felt you were kind of maybe hitting your peak around 2006? You were in great shape. So
No, I don't think. I
no,
think,
okay,
yeah, I think I probably peaked probably about like 2010, maybe.
right, okay.
Something like that, yeah.
So tell us, yeah, if give us a bit of an insight then as to sort of a typical training week, depending on whether you're, specific for whether it's a 1500 meter race or major championships. Tell us a little bit about, one of your hard weeks in preparation for that, and a little bit about your just a regular week for you for you these days, and whether you're out there doing the 40-mile weeks with Lewis or not.
Yeah. So do you want one of my weeks when I was training?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Yes, please. Go on.
Right. So that was when I was coached by Liz.
Okay.
So you do 5. So Monday would be 5 miles, and there's 7 miles. And Tuesday morning would be 5 miles, and then your Tuesday track session, which would be something like 10 by K with a minute in between.
Right.
Wednesday you do your 5, and then you do a tempo at night.
Right. So
and then you
session, then a tempo.
Yep. And then you do your circuits at night after that, which was solid. Like the circuits were so hard. Often we'd look at the person that was coming in, like if it was somebody new joined the group, and they would watch the circuits and they'd be like, "This is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life."
Yeah.
Thursday would be 5 again, and then a session, but it'd be shorter reps, so you'd probably be doing like 2400s or 4200s or something.
Right.
Yeah. Friday, you'd sometimes get a rest day, but in the end, that just got taken down to 1 rest day a month.
Really? Right. Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. Saturday, you'd be a long session, so it would often be cross country or sometimes track in the summer.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'd be on the track 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Then you'd have your 5 miles at night, and then you do your Sunday run, which would be 10, 12 miles, and you start again on the Monday. So so I remember thinking at that time, there's nobody training as hard as this.
Yeah.
So
was there a wee group of you at that time then?
Yeah. So there's a lot of us in Dundee up at that time.
Yeah. Who anyone we would know? Any name?
There's Ailish McColgan.
Yeah, I know that name. Yeah.
Lindsay Sharp.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Jenny Tan or Jenny Selman now.
Yeah. Who's also just released some good news. Have you seen that?
Yes, she has. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cute, isn't it?
Yeah, that's cool. In fact, it was. I was actually just chatting to Dougie a few weeks ago because
Dougie was there. That's how they met.
Oh, is that right? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because he was actually in the Scotland team for the Anglo Celtic Plate 100k again, which was last weekend. But I didn't realise he'd pulled out a few weeks before for various reasons. So I sent him a message, and then he told me, "Oh, I've got some exciting news." So that was good.
That's cute.
That was good to hear.
Yeah.
So Jenny, well, that's some pretty good training group right there.
Yeah. But so obviously the shorter distance, so 400-800 runners, they wouldn't do quite as much as we would.
Right.
But so Lindsay Sharp, she would be 800.
Yeah.
Because she was at Commonwealth silver medalist in 2014.
Right. Was that 24? Right. Okay. And you might have seen we did a post. You've probably seen the announcement from the IOC about the.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, I saw you about that.
The different levels of testosterone. I won't get into it all on here because it's a bit political, but obviously they've made an announcement that, for example, the 2016 Rio Olympics. I think the first 3 people in that race. If that was now, they wouldn't be eligible to compete. So that would have, and Lindsay was 6th, wasn't she? So that would have effectively been a bronze medal if that was now. But things happen, times change. But that's a pretty impressive training group. I like that because there's been odd occasion where I've been to a group and you're looking next to you and there's internationals and it's almost like can you even be in the top 3 in a rep? So, but no, it's interesting. And then so training with those sort of guys, how did that kind of work then when it comes to did you race against many of them then frequently around that time? And I
raced against Ailish a bit. Yeah. But most of my training's been with Central.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So that's So Sean would know quite a bit about that because there's quite a bit of sort of rivalry, isn't there? And
definitely
among Scottish clubs and stuff. So
definitely. Yeah. Central obviously up there. They're someone that we try and get now. I think we maybe it's I've had this before when running down south. Some of the big clubs, national championships, and it's always ifs and buts. If only we had everyone. Our strongest team, but even Central, the strength and depth is ridiculous. And if they have their best team out, but I think we would have Inverclyde, for example, would need to get all of our big guns out. Everyone people come and go, as you know. We spoke about Mark Pollard earlier, so he's obviously heavily involved in Scottish athletics. I think he's a former Scottish national cross country champion twice, certainly once. I think he won it twice. And we've had other athletes now that have moved out to America. People move on, people give up running. But that there's because it's quite Inverclyde's obviously a fairly small place, and but if they got, or I say if we, although I'm not running very fast much myself these days or the club, but if we could get everyone out, it would be good to see if we could actually challenge them. But but not quite yet.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, no, good stuff. All right, and so just give us a bit of an insight then into like a typical training week at the moment. A little bit different to what you were doing back then, I'd imagine.
Yeah, so I always have a rest day every week.
Yeah, I love a rest day.
Oh, so do I.
One day, Friday rest day for me.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Sometimes a Monday now though, because that's my daddy daycare day. And that's tiring as you know. So yeah, so go give us a typical week now.
So Monday I'll do 8 miles if everything's all well. I'll do 8 miles.
Okay.
And then I'll do 4 miles in the morning on the Tuesday. And then I'll do the central session with the group most of the time, hopefully. So that varies depending on what. But that's like, it's funny because when I look on Strava, like other people do a lot longer sessions than we do, but it obviously seems to work for the guys. And then Wednesday I do 8 miles. Thursday I'll do 5 miles. I'll try and do 5 miles, and then I'll do a spin session at night. So yeah, I think. But so basically, I'll just go to one of the local gyms and do a spin class.
Mm-hmm.
And Friday I'll have a rest day. Saturday I'll do a park run.
Okay.
And then do like a little session afterwards, like a mini session. So that's like the compromise. Like I don't do, so that'll be my two sort of harder things in the week. So instead of doing like quite a lot of hard things in the week, basically I don't think my body can handle it. And then Sunday I'll do a run. But it depends. Like I can't do like hilly runs. We kind of touched on it before I came on about and stuff. So I can't do like hilly stuff or.
Because you were saying on the way down, you find it compresses the spine a bit. Is that right? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what it was. So I had an MRI last in the summer there because I was injured for so after Silverknowes, I had a really good run there. So I ran 15:54 and won the.
Was that last year?
No, 2025 there.
Yeah.
And things were going really well. And then I tweaked a hammy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we thought it was just a muscle strain, but then it turned out that it was like neural, and then I was struggling to get back from it, and then my back started getting sore. But then it turned my physio thought I should go for an MRI.
Mm-hmm.
So I went for a lumbar MRI, and then it turned out that I've got like bony edema in my vertebrae, which basically means that there's inflammation in the bones.
Yeah, you were saying about that, yeah. No, well, fair play. That's just still, but would it be fair to say you feel like you've kind of overcome that, or you just kind of manage it?
Just manage it, yeah. I don't know if I get shockwave a lot. So shockwave is amazing for a lot of different things, but it can actually improve like stress fractures, like start of bony damage. It can really help. And as well, it's obviously helping tendons, which most people know about anyway. But
Great, okay, good stuff. So just going back to that, so that was at Silverknowes, wasn't it? The Scottish 5K champs.
Yes.
What time did you run there? I'm just trying to
15:54.
That was it, 15:54, decent. So and so how did that race pan out? Like, did you get did you lead from the front, or did you have someone challenging you? How did it work?
So it has rough Silverknowes because basically you run with the guys.
Yes.
Yeah, which is great. So what happened was I knew Annabelle was there.
Is that Annabelle Simpson? Yeah.
Yeah. So I overtook her about because she was ahead of me, and then Nancy Scott was ahead of me, I think, as well.
Right. Okay.
And then I overtook them about 4K. 3K. I overtook Annabelle, and then I didn't even realise Lynn McKenna was in the race. And I saw her because there's so many people you don't know. I was like, oh. And then when we're coming back in, I was still feeling quite strong, so I managed to overtake her and Lynn. So it was pretty close in the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite nice to do it that way rather than sort of trying to hold on. If you're overtaking people, it feels a bit better. But,
yeah, no, decent. And I'm just looking here as well, and obviously I touched on it earlier. Am I right in saying you've won that race a few times? Is that right?
Yeah. I think 3 times maybe. Yeah.
Decent. So will you be going for number 4 this year, do you think?
Oh yeah, because I'm only just getting over being ill. Like it's not that far away, and it's quite early this year. It's 1st of May.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, and last year it was like mid-May, which suited me again because for some
reason
those
few weeks would help you out at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, extra 2 weeks makes see if you're like nearly fit, an extra couple of weeks makes a big difference to me.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Yeah, okay. So you just kind of see how you go then, maybe.
Yeah, because you don't want to. But then there's the other things like so. Basically, I'm 40 now, so.
Yeah, was that in February? I think I saw that somewhere.
Yeah. So like I want to. There's like I don't know. Sometimes you're struggling for things to aim for, and it'd be quite nice to get up the all-time list.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because Helen Clitheroe's got the fastest time. It's like I can't remember if it's 16 dead or 16:01.
Right.
But yeah, it'd be good to get that.
Right, decent. So you potentially still looking to dip under 16 minutes then?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, it'd be nice.
Right. Well, I can tell you, I won't be racing you anytime soon. That's for sure.
I'm not in that shape at the moment, but I've got a few weeks yet, so
Yeah, no,
yeah.
decent. No, I'll be really. I'm gonna obviously be interested to follow your progress, see how you get on. So, are you? I need to check as well. Are you on Strava as well? Do you post your
Yeah,
training publicly?
yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I don't think I've got you on there, so I need to give you a wee follow and try and get some tips.
So I have.
So,
It's like you need to request. You know that thing you have to request to follow, but I don't
yeah,
hide.
yeah,
I know some people hide some stuff, don't they?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So anybody that follows me can see it, but
Right.
yeah.
Right. Okay. I'll
I'll,
try and get some inspiration then. Did I see that you'd also run? Was it a Scottish Vet 35 best in the 3000 as well? So you got that time.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was
2021.
yeah. So that was when I was getting back from being. Oh, that was weird. So I fell and hit my knee,
Right.
and then Lewis was like, oh, what's like he was like it was in a session that was like it was quite a long session we were doing, and he felt it was taking quite a long time to get up. And then I finished the session, and then afterwards my knee was pretty sore. I was trying to warm down, and I looked down, and my knee was like, you know, when it's like a deep bruise underneath.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh no, I was like, I knew it was something pretty bad. But it took like 6 weeks or something to get back running after that.
Right.
Because I
Okay.
properly just like bashed it, like properly.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get back from that, and I ended up running in racers on that, but not like
Right.
proper. Again, that wasn't the. It was before because
Before
the
the
carbons
carbon.
have only come out really quite recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was in like Adidas Boosts or something like that.
Okay.
Because I felt
Yeah.
like I couldn't, because my Achilles have always had issues. So the
Right.
dragonflies are great for Achilles issues on the track.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, but the dragonflies, well, they were just coming out then. So
Mm-hmm.
then I actually got some good form because we actually did that. We do time trials at the track sometimes.
Yeah, I love a time trial. Well, I used to love a
Yeah,
time trial. Not at the moment.
yeah. So I ended up at the one at the club. I ended up running 9:06, and then afterwards I was like, "What's that going per 10?" And they were like, "No," and I was like, "Oh."
So yeah, 906. So I'll just jump in there, so I can relate. So when I was a little bit fitter, I would do a session. I don't know if you've ever done this type of session before, but I would do a 3K. I can't remember what the recovery was. It was maybe something like 2 minutes. Then it was
Yeah,
3K, 2 minute recovery, a 2K, maybe like a minute or 90 seconds recovery, then a 1K. So 3K, 2K, 1K, and I was trying to run slightly quicker for the 2K, and then and back in the day, I can't remember whether I actually did or not, but certainly I was sort of in and around those times, but I was looking to run the 3K in around 9 minutes, or and then obviously the 2K in under 6, and then
yeah.
whatever I could do for the K. However, just fast forward a few months, it's quite embarrassing. I did a 3K. It was supposed to be some sort of time trial. I wasn't fit anyway. I've now got issues where I'm on sort of thyroxine medication and all sorts, but I went down
Right.
to Inverclyde, and bearing in mind this, I don't even think this is like even my marathon PB pace, but I did a 3K and I don't know what we're in. I got beaten by lots of people, and they've kind of reminded me about it very regularly since in group chats and stuff. But I think I ran about 10:30 or 10:40, like in
Yeah,
a
yeah.
3K on the track. I think I even had spikes on. I'm going to put it out there just to embarrass myself even more. And like just only like just over a year ago or so, I would be doing 3 times 3K in like under 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, yeah. It's all gone wrong, but maybe there's life in the old dog yet. But maybe I think I need to steer clear from the track and stick to the road. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but no. So that 3K you did, so back in 20. What sort? Can you remember what time you ran then? What were you running then? What was that Scottish V35 time?
Oh, like it wasn't that good. What was it? It
Right.
was 9:26 or something.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'd take that at the moment. Clearly.
Yeah, but then that was my first race.
Yeah.
It was actually after Molly's first birthday, I think, or the day
Okay.
off. Yeah, and it was like one of those things where you haven't raced in ages. I think it was like my first track anything
Yeah.
after Molly. Yeah, so
Okay.
like I was just like it's quite nerve wracking because you're like, and then
Yeah.
it was an open graded, so like like that kind of thing is always quite difficult because you're kind of like running in with like sort of guys and like you're trying to
Yeah.
because then people go off at different paces, don't they? Like some of the young guys just go off, and you're like,
Yeah. 100%.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then it was, so I remember not being like particularly pleased with it because it was just part of the process of me trying to get fitter, and then I
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
get fit quite quickly
Yeah.
after that. But yeah,
Decent. Okay. And so also, so just so I take it it sounds like you're quite into racing in the sort of masters categories, because I know for some reason not everyone is. For some people even sort of frown upon it. I don't know why, because clearly, as we know, when we do get older, we definitely slow down and don't don't run the sort of times. Well, not everyone. It depends. Some people are on different trajectories. I mean, obviously you and I have been running for a long time. You're still going pretty well. I've slowed down a bit more than you have. But for example, we spoke about Mr. Pollard, Mark Pollard earlier, and I know he's for some reason he's not a fan at all of the masters racing scene. I'll say he's all about racing as in the senior category, and I don't think he feels there should be a veterans. I might be wrong. I don't want to misquote him, but he's certainly not fond of himself personally racing in so yeah, he doesn't do as much these days. But it's good to say you're still out there and pushing the barriers and running great times. So like you say, you've just turned 40. So I would say the British and Irish Masters cross country. So you won was that the Vet 35 category that you won then? Is that right?
Yeah, so that's
you would have been towards the kind of higher end of the age group there, which I guess technically, if we're looking at it, would have been a lot harder for you. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're racing against technically, I don't know what 35-year-olds and you were 39, so that's pretty impressive that you won it at the top year. I mean, it's different when if you were a junior in the top year, it's advantageous, but obviously as we get older, so fair play.
Thanks. Yeah. There's a big difference between 35 and 40, isn't there?
Well, there is. Yeah, let's be honest. Yeah, I think so. Anyway, not everyone would agree, but so would you be? Did you fancy getting yourself in the mix doing the Scottish Trial again later this year, and then seeing? I don't even know where the British and Irish Masters cross country is, or if it's been announced. But do you fancy going there and having a crack as a bottom ager?
Yeah, I think it's in Belfast or Dublin. I can't remember which one, but right. It's normally quite a big trip away. I've never been, so basically this was the first year that I did.
Is it the first time you've done it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because I always haven't paid that much attention to it. But then it's quite nice to sort of have something to aim for, isn't it? So
yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, at the end of the day, obviously it's the Masters, but it's a Scotland vest, and like you say, it's a good trip away. Yeah. Hopefully, that Lewis can look after the girls, gives you a bit of downtime.
See you later.
That's it. Yeah, you're the athlete in the household. So, but tell us a little bit about that actually, in terms of how it works, the training set up with obviously the two kids, with Lewis trying to do his 40-mile weeks. Although we know that's unfortunately died a death in the last few weeks. So we were just the Scottish Running Podcast. We're sorry to hear about that, and we're wishing Lewis all the best. And maybe we'll try and send him a little pack, a little goodie bag, some Lemsips, some vitamin C, some echinacea or something like that, just to get him back, because it must be tough in the Miller household with Lewis out the game. So tell us a little bit how the training dynamic works with yourself, the girls, and how that works.
So I'm really lucky because actually Lewis is he's not bothered about being competitive anymore.
Okay.
So he doesn't do any sessions. So sometimes I was going to do the Tele 10K, and I ended up not doing it because then I was going to do a New Year's race. So he actually took my slot, which is really nice of him to transfer it over. And he ended up running 35:30. He does no sessions.
That's decent, isn't it?
Yeah, he's not done. I think the last session he did was the Christmas before that.
Right.
Honestly. So I was just
right.
Yeah. This testosterone thing's pretty good, eh?
Yeah, there you go. I thought I was going to. So obviously, you say he's not too bothered about competitive running now, but no. I'm guessing because obviously he's got a competitive background. So I'm sure your two girls will be in stood in good stead for when they get into their sport, whatever that may be, if they choose to do the sport, that is. So is there still a bit of competitiveness in the household though? Where it could whether it's board games or just even quizzes, anything? I'm guessing there must be a bit of competitiveness between the two of you. Or not really?
Not really. Sometimes we do the fourth one quiz, and I'm diabolically bad at it. He'll always get more than I do. You know that, what's it? 10. You get a minute, don't you, to answer 10 questions?
Yeah.
But that's pretty much the only thing. We don't really we don't sort of run against. It's funny because we were both doing a stride out session on Tuesday. I was the first one to try and get over because we often don't get to run together. Right. But there was a chance for. I was just doing a first sort of tester session after the fluid to see if I was all right.
Yeah.
And I was doing that thing. I was like, oh, should I come back for you? And then the first 2 or 3 reps, he was away. And I was like, he's been really he was ill worse than I was. And then he's not done any sessions for ages. So now here's me being should I come back for you? And then he's just oh. But then after the last half of the session, he was sort of it was the opposite way around. But I was just after that first one, I was check me out, being all should I come back for you? He's
that's cool. So what I'd be interested in, do we have any statistics here? Do we have some figures on? Is there a Lewis and Morag kind of head to head on the Power of 10? In terms of when you've actually raced each other, how's that looking?
Yeah, there's a contentious one because one of the years in Blackrock, Lewis was said that he'd dropped back to pace me, but we hadn't ever chatted about that. And I'm like, I just thought he
I
was just
love that.
running. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So he was just like, no, I was like helping you out. And I'm like, well, we didn't chat about this. And he's like, well, obviously, why would I have been just in front of you? And I was like, I just thought you were having a rubbish day.
Right,
Yeah,
we'll reach out to Lewis for comment on that then about the Black
yeah,
Rock Five. So good stuff. Okay, well listen. Obviously, I know we spoke earlier. Your two girls are on a slightly different routine to my little one, who's fast asleep, and I think they go to bed around the same time as you and Lewis. So I'm sure they'll be looking for some mummy cuddles shortly if they're not
yeah.
already down. But no, listen, it's been great chatting to you. Thanks very much for coming on. Just before we do sort of tie things up, just tell us a little bit. Apologies if we've already discussed it and I've missed it. What's next for you then, race wise? Have you actually got anything sort of in the diary, sort of set in stone? What's
No,
next for you?
so yeah, I'll just have to see what happens. There's flat and fast, but it's like in 2 weeks' time, 2 weeks on
Right.
Friday.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm going to be ready for that.
Okay.
I'll just have to see. But then Silverknowes is 2 weeks after that. So then it probably means it might be like a means to an end. I might have to do it, and it might be just to help me get fit
To
for.
get where you need to,
Yeah,
it's just kind of
yeah,
see where you're at, and then make a
yeah,
decision from that. Basically,
yeah,
is
yeah,
Silverknowes on or not? Right. Okay.
yeah,
Good
yeah.
stuff.
Lewis doesn't think I should do it, but yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to see.
What does he know?
Yeah, no, he's like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
No, just joking. No, that's great. So, as I said, thanks very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure to chat to you. Obviously, unfortunately, Sean didn't end up joining us. So, but as I said, he'll definitely be in your inbox about some of the aesthetics you have on offer to help him out to pamper himself. Now he's got a luscious locks and. Yeah, so and yeah, Scottish Running Podcast exclusive. This is an exclusive. Sean is back on the market, so if anyone is interested, Sean is a single guy, but yeah, he'll be in touch for some aesthetic tips from yourself, Morag. So, but yeah, but no, as I said, been great hearing about your running career and all of your achievements, and it's from my point of view, it's really kind of inspiring just to see that you're still running very, very well. You know, knocking on the door of that 16-minute barrier. Hopefully, going to get that Vet 40 record. You know, with two children as well, and having had a long running career. So good luck for the future for your next races, and excited to see where you go from here. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thanks. I hope you recover as well.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers. I appreciate that. Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.